Today in this video, I will tell you about the top 10 most unexpected underwater finds. From real pirate treasures and jewels to a sunken yacht in the middle of Antarctica. Friends, before we start, please like and subscribe to the channel. So let's go! A man named Jace, while walking along the beach, discovered a strange object washed ashore. As he got closer, he realized that it was a rescue capsule designed for emergency situations. Inside he found various items ranging from video instructions on how to use the capsule to basic necessities and various pills. Some of the food he decided to try, but it turned out to be spoiled. Perhaps this capsule had been here for a very long time, as such essentials have a long shelf life. Two American bloggers found a sunken boat at the bottom of the river near their house, under which lay a real treasure trove. According to experts, the gold coins that were in the suitcase date back to the 14th century and can cost tens of thousands of dollars. And some private collectors are even willing to pay much more for such rare specimens. Upon learning about such a find, the local authorities seized the coins and handed them over for examination for analysis and further placement in state museums. After a while, the bloggers decided to explore the bottom of this river again in an attempt to find new treasures. This time, the finds turned out to be no less valuable. Among them were bracelets and necklaces made of real pearls worth several $1,000s. However, this time, they managed to keep this find for themselves, since these jewels had no historical value. None of the local authorities were interested in this find. Sometimes interesting finds can be right under your feet. A resident of Russia found the Golden River in the truest sense of the word. In the video, you can see how a man collects pieces of gold lying right under his feet. And this is not the case when usually a gold digger has to sit for a long time and carefully watch the sand in search of gold grains. In this case, gold can be collected by hand like ordinary stones. In the comments under the video, the author was offered a lot of money for information with the coordinates of this golden river. However, the author ignored such suggestions and continued to mine gold on his own, posting subsequent videos. Friends, write in the comments, for what amount of money would you agree to sell the coordinates of such a place, and would you agree at all? Probably few of you know that sculptors and artists all over the planet have a special tradition of installing their work after the end of filming on the seabed. Some scuba divers and divers dive to the seabed in search of such works of art. One of the most interesting finds on the seabed was the discovery of xenomorph from the movie Alien. This exhibit fits seamlessly into the seabed, giving it even more eeriness and mysticism. The coordinates of this find were hidden to avoid collectors who want to get the sculpture from the day of the sea for their collection. A man named Scott Bayer, who is fond of diving and underwater exploration, accidentally discovered a Dodge pickup truck during another dive into a lake in Texas. The whole car was covered with algae and mud. After the license plate was handed over to the police, it turned out that the car was stolen 2 years ago and was wanted. The announced owner of the car was both delighted and disappointed, since the car was no longer subject to restoration. However, some parts were suitable for restoration and further sale. The pickup truck was pulled from the bottom of the lake and taken to the nearest police station. Divers have discovered a sunken BMW X5 in the lower part of the Norwegian Gulf. When the car was lifted onto land, experts assured that this car was a crime scene and had been wanted for 5 years. The car was handed over to the police for further investigation. It is difficult to imagine a more incredible place on planet Earth than Antarctica. Among the gigantic expanses of eternal ice, the White Continent hides many secrets. One of the interesting finds turned out to be a sunken yacht, which was discovered by a passing tourist boat. But it soon turned out that the yacht belonged to a famous Brazilian journalist and entrepreneur who was filming a documentary on these shores of Antarctica. As it turned out, the crash occurred on April 8, 2012. Fortunately, the journalist and 4 crew members were successfully rescued, and the yacht remained at the bottom to live out its days. For the journalist, the incident was a great tragedy, since the ship belonged to him personally, which also contained important documentary information and expensive equipment. But still, sometime later, by all means, he decided to raise his yacht from the bottom. The operation was successful. After 19 hours of painstaking work, the yacht still managed to get off the bottom. Of course, the yacht and expensive equipment could no longer be restored, but some documents with important information were recovered. The cherished dream of many sailors is to stumble upon a chest of gold, and sometimes unexpected finds do happen. After sailing a few miles off the coast of France, the fishermen saw a cargo container. Dragging him to the ship, they punched through a sheet of metal and could not believe their eyes. There were thousands of brand new iPhones inside a container. The crew members were stunned and delighted. However, the happiness did not last long. Some from the crew reported this discovery to the Coast Guards, and an hour later, police officers came to the ship with a search, during which all expensive equipment was seized. Part of the crew who participated in the opening of the container was arrested. On January 2, 2019, a severe storm raged in the North Sea, as a result of which the huge MSC container ship lost more than 300 containers with a variety of goods, from furniture and electronics to car parts. All these containers and goods began to be dumped along the coast of the Dutch islands. Such an event had already happened here before, so such news quickly spread among the locals and many people gathered on the beach in search of treasures. People collected televisions, IKEA furniture, toys, light bulbs, clothes, and even expensive car parts on the beach. Not a single product was left unattended. Even various household chemicals were picked up by treasure hunters. According to experts, such a crash resulted in a loss of more than $10 million. In 2019, there was another major accident related to a ship called Golden Ray. However, this time the amount of damage was much greater, as there were more than 4,000 Mercedes and Chevrolet cars on board this cargo ship, intended for delivery and further sale to Saudi Arabia. According to experts, the ship capsized due to overload. Such an error resulted in losses of more than $50 million. A rescue operation was carried out, during which the ship was cut into 8 parts. Over the course of a month, pieces of the sunken ship and along with them thousands of cars that could not be restored were taken from the bottom of the sea. Friends, which of the finds surprised you the most? Share your opinion in the comments. If you like the video, then like it and share it with your friends. We also recommend that you watch other videos on our channel.